It's 6 o'clock. Time to visit Healthy Living Market and Cafe for the best all-natural foods and products.
Coming up on Spectrum News, officials now know what caused a gas tank to catch fire at a Glenville asphalt plant Thursday morning. We'll have the details next. Plus, a former Albany chiropractor is facing more charges in connection with claims of sexual abuse. 2 more people have come forward now. We talked to police about those allegations. And as Puerto Rico recovers from damage from recent hurricanes, some local Dunkin' Donuts locations are doing what they can to help out. I'll tell you more coming up as Spectrum News starts now.
Hello everybody, thanks for watching Spectrum News. I'm Solomon Syed.
And I'm Kate Welshow. For the top stories are coming up after a quick check of the forecast. Tonight across the capital region, skies will be mainly clear with lows in the 40s. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine with highs in the 60s. A fire at an asphalt plant in Glenville prompts a massive response. An attorney for Mohawk Asphalt Emulsion says a worker accidentally left a heater on, causing a cleaning solution containing kerosene to overheat and catch fire. We're told that cleaning solution will no longer be made at the facility to prevent similar incidents in the future. Terry Stackhouse has more.
Flames so powerful, some witnesses say they could feel the ground shake. Firefighters quickly containing flames at Mohawk Asphalt Emulsions, says Thomas Quarters Fire Chief Garth Riccio.
I wouldn't exactly call it an explosion. It was more or less a fire of tar products burning in a tank.
Multiple fire departments called to the scene off Freeman's Bridge Road around 6:30. The workers on site managed to get out safely.
Upon our arrival, we had heavy smoke and fire coming out of one of the tanks. At the time, we didn't know who it was or what it was.
Thursday's fire comes less than a year after a similar incident on site. 3 workers were hurt last October when a tanker truck exploded. 2 died from their injuries. OSHA fined the company for violations related to their deaths.
They did a lot of training after the last incident, and everybody evacuated immediately, which was, the right thing to do.
We'll follow up, and we'll follow up with the fire department and any of the police departments and our own internal police department that's going to check to see if there's any violations that we need to address.
The DEC says they're monitoring spillage and runoff from the gas tanks. Right now, though, they say they haven't noticed any issues. Reporting in Glenville, Terry Stackhouse, Spectrum News.
Former Albany chiropractor Dr. Seth Cole has been arrested for the second time in 3 months, accused of sexual abuse. Michael Howard is in the newsroom with more for us now. What's the latest, Mike?
Yeah, well, Kate, we first brought you his arrest back in June after 2 female patients reported similar claims of abuse to police. Now we've learned he's facing more charges. Albany police say 2 more victims have come forward recently. One of them says they were inappropriate touched during a visit in late 2015. The second victim says they were also inappropriately touched during a visit in late 2016, bringing the total number of alleged victims to 4. Cole is now facing 2 more charges of sex abuse in the 2nd degree. He was practicing at Albany Chiropractic on New Scotland Avenue, but his license has since been suspended.
What's disturbing about these types of cases is that, we go to our medical professionals for help, and, we put a lot of faith and trust in our medical professionals, and it's just disheartening when, people come forward with these types of incidents.
And Cole was arraigned and released yesterday. He is due back in court on October 27th. Kate?
Michael Howard reporting for us in the newsroom. Thank you, Mike.
Queensbury man accused of attempting to sexually abuse a teenager. Warren County Sheriff's Office saying this man, Arliss Bates, has been charged with attempted sex abuse, endangering the welfare of a child. He's accused of exposing himself to the 13-year-old victim. Then on a separate occasion, Bates allegedly trying to sexually abuse the teen at his apartment. Bates is now being held in the Warren County Correctional Facility. Because the incident allegedly took place in a residential area, any parents with concerns, you're urged to call the Warren County Sheriff's Office.
A man is found guilty of murder charges in connection with a shooting in Schenectady. A jury found 23-year-old Hector Abreu guilty of second-degree murder and other charges for killing 28-year-old Angel Carrion in June of 2014. Prosecutors say there was an ongoing feud between the 2 men and their affiliation with the Latin Kings street gang, which resulted in Abreu shooting Carrion at his home. Abreu is currently serving 12 years in prison for a separate shooting. He is scheduled to be sentenced on the murder charge December 1st. Waterford police are investigating a report of an attempted abduction. It happened Wednesday night around 7 o'clock on 3rd Avenue. Police say a man in a black sedan approached two 7-year-old kids and asked them to get in the car. The children ran home. The man drove away. Police are working to check out surveillance video from nearby homes. If you have any information, contact Waterford Police at 518-237-3341.
A man is accused of taking his mom's car without her permission, then driving it into mailboxes in a cornfield. 30-year-old Roy Simmons Jr. charged with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and criminal mischief. State police say his license is now suspended. Troopers say Simmons Jr. also had marijuana. He was released with an appearance ticket for the town of Pittstown court.
The talk of several local Facebook groups surrounds the possible sale of an interesting item. Jacqueline Cangro spoke with a woman looking to sell a headstone she found in her front lawn.
Like many controversies these days, this one started on social media.
I've had a lot of people tell me I'm disgusting and that I'm disrespectful, that I'm going to be haunted.
Nicole Crow writing a comedic post for an unusual item for sale, a headstone. She found it when making renovations to her Delmar home.
There was no walkway in the front door, so I decided, why don't I put a small patio? So when I dug this area, this is exactly where I hit the first stone.
The stone was broken into 3 pieces, but when put together, you can read the words James, son of Robert and Ruth Matthews.
I stopped in horror and immediately thought that I had purchased a house that was on burial ground.
The house was built around 1950, and on the tombstone you can clearly see it says 1850. So it's not actually believed that James Matthews is buried on the property.
Considering these stones were lined up in a perfect rectangle, I think it was somebody else much later that was just trying to line a flower bed.
Crow says she has reached out to a number of historical societies, and it seems the Matthews family was from Slingerlands. After numerous attempts to donate the stone, she says no one is interested.
I'm not trying to make money off of these stones. I would love to give them to someone who could use them, but nobody seemed to want them. So that's why they've been in the back of my garage for almost 2 years.
Crow says she is in contact with some historical organizations about a possible donation. In Delmar, Jacqueline Cangro, Spectrum News.
Puerto Rico is facing huge logistical hurdles getting aid to its people. There are more than 10,000 shipping containers sitting at the port of San Juan filled with food, fuel, construction materials, and more that are not being distributed, partially because of the severe damage to roads and bridges throughout the island. Steve Nance has the latest.
We need to move heaven and earth and do everything we can to assist the people who are suffering.
More than a week after Hurricane Maria ravaged Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, there are more calls and complaints in Washington to deal with the devastation.
At its core, today, the short-term challenge in Puerto Rico is a logistical one. The supply chain, the logistical chain on the island is broken.
This administration's response has been inexcusably slow and ineffective.
Wednesday, the Trump administration announcing it has waived the Jones Act, making it possible for non-U.S. ships to bring in supplies.
The relief effort is under control. It is proceeding very well, considering the devastation that took place.
And appointing Lieutenant General Jeffrey Buchanan to try and get that broken supply chain moving, but acknowledging the process is slow going.
Listen, we're not going to be able to move as fast as everybody would like us or as I would like. But we are pushing everything that we have. The entire workforce of the federal governments, of the agencies represented, are working tirelessly around the clock to alleviate this situation.
Meanwhile, in Puerto Rico, growing frustration over the thousands of shipping containers stuck at the port of San Juan.
There's a person in need of medicine. That right now, babies, children don't have a bottle of water. And it's here.
I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
During the White House press briefing, when asked about news reports that there are thousands of shipping containers sitting at the port of San Juan, Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert pushed back, saying that supplies are getting through.
Well, if you're ever on a train into New York City, you may no longer see advertisements for alcohol on city subways. Those against the ad say alcohol companies target low-income minority communities and put profit ahead of the public health. Alcohol ads accounting for $7.5 million of the MTA's bottom line in 2014, the last year for which these figures are available. The board will take up the issue next month.
Dunkin' Donuts is helping the victims of Hurricane Irma. Locally, Dunkin' Donuts is donating 500 pounds of coffee to the Red Cross of Northeastern New York. The Red Cross says that donation is headed to Fort Myers.
This donation of coffee will power our volunteers who are serving the mission and also help provide hope and a warm cup of coffee to those that are staying in our shelter.
The donation comes ahead of National Coffee Day. On Friday, if you buy a medium or larger hot coffee, you'll get a medium hot coffee for free.